I have no other choice but to continue with this topic of discussion because the Holy Spirit is just so present. You just was able to witness that. And it's such a beautiful thing. So I have no choice but to read to you what he was telling me while I was speaking about the lady and her son, how she was about to die, and me using an illustration of water. And it was exactly water that Elijah wanted her to give him, as well as a piece of bread. So I'm going to read this to you. And again, when the Lord is telling you to do something, I understand you love your daughter, you love your son, you love your husband. But if the Lord is telling you that, listen, this would be best for this person if you are in the position to do this for this individual. You never know how many doors can be opened by that one act of obedience. And that's what the previous podcast was about. And I also have to make a correction. The podcast was not Jesus is always the right choice, which he is always the right choice. But when I was speaking about the illustration of the house and people being trapped in it, believe it or not, the name of that episode is Jesus. The storm obeys Jesus. So the one I just previously did was a part 2. And so this is going to be a part 3 because, again, you was able to witness in real time how the Holy Spirit deals with me. And this is how you know that I'm able to do this the way that he wants to do it. And I submit and I surrender to how he wants to do it. And this is how you know when someone is called. Because it's about his words. And he helps you get more of an understanding of it. And this is what he has called me to do in so many beautiful ways. So now I'm going to read that. So this story can be found in 1 Kings 17. And it's called The Widow at Zarephath. So then it reads, this is verse 8. Then the Lord said to Elijah, go and live in the village of Zarephath, near the city of Sidon. I have instructed a widow there to feed you. So he went to Zarephath. As he arrived at the gates of the village, he saw a widow gathering sticks, and he asked her, would you please bring me a little cup of water? A little water in a cup. That's exactly how it's indicated. Would you please bring me a little water in a cup? As she was going to get it, he called to her, bring me a bite of bread too. But she said, I swear by the Lord your God that I don't have a single piece of bread in the house. And I have only a handful of flour left in a jar and a little cooking oil in the bottom of the jug. I was just gathering a few sticks to cook the last meal, and then my son and I will die. But Elijah said to her, don't be afraid. Go ahead and do just what you've said, but make a little bread for me first. Then use what's left to prepare a meal for yourself and your son. For this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. There will always be flour and olive oil left in your containers until the time when the Lord sends rain and the crops grow again. So she did as Elijah said, and she and Elijah and her family continued to eat for many days. There was always enough flour and olive oil left in the containers, just as the Lord had promised through Elijah. So, the beautifulness of God, how he's having you to look at that scenario from two different perspectives. Again, the person who's thinking that he can only use you and how dangerous and disastrous that is, because he can do it a number of ways. And being obedient to the one that the Lord is saying that this is the one that I am using. And then allowing him to show you what can happen based off of your obedience the first time. He's asking you to display that.